We used to believe that homelessness was the story of other people, those who have failed or have long-standing issues. But by 2026, that prejudice will be shattered. In England, the line between a comfortable home and a makeshift tent is as thin as an interest rate hike. Imagine a terrifying scenario. Brent crude oil prices surpass $100 a barrel after the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and immediately 1.8 million households face the nightmare of mortgage refinancing. This is not just a financial recession. It is a social purge. While the government is powerless due to a depleted budget, more than 200,000 children are at risk of sleeping on the streets. It's time for us to face the question head-on: who will be the first to be thrown out of their home when the system collapses? Let's explore together the 10 groups in the crosshairs of the most severe homelessness crisis in modern British history. If you look at peaceful suburban rows of houses with shiny Autos parked in the driveway, you might think the British dream is still alive. But perhaps we are witnessing a final act, where the new middle class is performing before the curtain of debt falls. We call them prisoners of leverage. They have beautiful homes, degrees, and status, but are shackled by mortgage contracts from the era of cheap interest rates. The paradox is brutal. They own properties worth $500,000, yet struggle to find £500 in cash for emergencies. Wealth without liquidity. By 2026, with oil prices rising and interest rates staying high, the Bank of England has little choice but to hold rates at 3.75% or more. For 1.8 million households entering refinancing, this becomes a financial sentence. When fixed-rate deals expire, borrowers face rates that are double or triple. With wage growth barely moving, every rate increase cuts directly into food budgets. Around 750,000 households are already in mortgage stress, spending over 40% of income on housing. The collapse doesn't happen overnight. It begins quietly, with credit cards for groceries, unpaid bills, and eventually foreclosure notices. Families are pushed into the already overwhelmed rental market, becoming the hidden homeless. These are your neighbors who vanish overnight, ending up in temporary rentals or relatives' homes. This collapse triggers a domino effect, weakening consumer demand and raising unemployment. The foundation of society begins to crack. And if even homeowners are vulnerable, what about those entering old age with nothing saved? By 2026, many over 55 face a fragile reality. Temporary housing among this group has surged dramatically. These are not failures, they are people who worked their entire lives, only to see the safety net disappear. Pensions rise modestly, but food and energy costs have skyrocketed. Many must choose daily between heating and eating. Without savings, they are extremely vulnerable to rent increases. With limited social housing and frozen support systems, homelessness in old age becomes not just displacement, but physical decline. Now consider the younger generation. The gig economy has exploded, with millions working as drivers, freelancers, and delivery workers. But behind the convenience lies instability. They pay their own costs, receive no benefits, and often earn below minimum wage after expenses. Many rely on credit to survive slow weeks. When demand drops, they fall instantly into crisis. A single missed payment or broken vehicle can lead directly to eviction. They often live in insecure rentals with little protection, making homelessness a constant risk. Then there are renters, the largest group standing on unstable ground. With record-high rents, even stable workers spend over 30% of income on housing. Affordable homes are scarce, and eviction notices arrive suddenly. Many turn to sofa surfing, moving between friends' homes while trying to maintain normal lives. But instability leads to job loss, and job loss leads to deeper housing insecurity. The system creates a vicious cycle. Next are the most vulnerable. Those dependent on welfare systems. Disabled individuals, low-income families, and those in poor health face shrinking support. As living costs rise, benefits fail to keep up. Many are forced to choose between food, heat, or rent. When families break under pressure, the cost to the state increases, through healthcare, childcare, and emergency housing. Yet prevention would have been far cheaper. Young people entering adulthood face a different crisis. High housing costs, student debt, and limited job opportunities leave many unable to live independently. They delay life milestones, lose stability, and face long-term psychological impacts. Single-parent families face even greater pressure. Balancing childcare, work, and rising rent. Many children in these households live below minimum standards. Evictions push them into temporary housing far from schools and communities, disrupting education and well-being. Then there are immigrants with no access to public support. Without safety nets, job loss means immediate homelessness. Many fall into exploitation, forced labor, or unsafe living conditions. Young people leaving the care system are also at extreme risk. Without family support, many become homeless within years of independence. Finally, there are those already on the edge, living in temporary housing or recovering from homelessness. They face a cruel system where earning income can reduce benefits, trapping them in poverty. Without long-term support, many fall back into homelessness. This cycle costs billions, yet fails to solve the root problem. By 2026, homelessness is no longer rare. It is becoming normalized. From middle-class homeowners to gig workers, from retirees to young adults, all are connected in a fragile system.